It will take like all.
No,
Wow.
it's
So,
5 minutes. Yeah,
We are live.
Wow.
Good enough?
We are live.
What? Yes.
Welcome to the weekly Blender Institute show.
Number
25. Today we are going to show you exciting progress of the Cosmos Wonderland film, and we are going to introduce two special guests. The first guest is, you can, if you say who you are, you say it to us, you can ignore the internet.
Okay. Well, my name is Tune, and I work for the Click Amsterdam Animation Festival, for Cartoon Brew, for the Dutch Animation Blog, for Studios De
Imagine and Click.
Yes.
When is Imagine starting? Next month?
Oh, no,
right?
no, not Imagine.
Oh.
No. The Dutch Animation Blog and
Okay.
Cartoon Brew and now like Imagine. Imagine is the beginning of April, I think.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. But of course, Click is more fun. But it will start only in late October. So.
Click is always at the same moment when we have the Blender conference. Can you make it 2 weeks earlier?
When's the Blender conference?
Beginning October. We are end of October. Already since 2002.
Oh, I'm sorry,
But
you
we
were
are
first. I'm sorry, we'll discuss it.
Yeah. No problem. I think you always do mid-October, not end October.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can also write about us, about your blog.
Of course. Some exciting news I heard.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm a Blender developer. I come here to drink beer because I'm local.
Dramatic lighting.
Dramatic lighting. Oh, that's about it, actually.
And you are the guy who was semi behind the whole AMD thing that happened this week.
Yeah, that's just corporate hand holding. It's nothing special. Few emails.
It's important to hold people's hands.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome. Today I hope there is time before you have to leave early, but you have to leave early too. So we do the film first. That's the idea.
If we do this,
And then do your stuff, or you want to do you want to see the film, or you want to leave
well, yeah, but
in 10 minutes? You still have 20 minutes.
Can we do Lucas first?
You don't have 20 minutes, and you don't have 20 minutes. So we have to make a pick. I do you first. Then.
Yeah, you can watch the movie later or not.
It's nice to do it with you. You still have 5 minutes, then maybe
We're
after.
20 minutes late, so yeah, choose.
You're losing time.
How long do you need
The
to
film.
Take your
The
decision.
film. Let's start with the film.
If we start with the movie, we'll be off.
You will already
10
be off.
minutes.
Yeah? Okay, then you can see what he has to say.
We don't.
Yeah.
And then we do the film.
And you were
Huh?
talking, we can
Yeah.
And he was
We're getting dizzy.
showing the drama, like framing the actions.
I hope this works because I'm trying to test it. Last minute bugs and
It's
stuff.
gonna be very
good
short
luck.
demo now.
What about
Let's hope.
getting this scene in your face? Oh,
Wow.
in your mouth. There.
Alright. So,
So, what did you do?
where's the weekly? Is this the right one? So let's do the second one first. So, caching has now support for hair. That's one thing.
Are you sharing?
Hey, you're not sharing
Oh, sure, yeah.
or putting it on the screen.
Blah, 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 blah. Where's the thingy? Hang on, what? This one? Yeah. I don't need to do anything. And why is this?
Just drag it.
Okay, so like that. Okay, so yeah, caching now supports hair more or less to some degree. We have a cache library, so I can bake this thing, which is again like it's just a duplicate group of this object. So if I bake this, bing, now this is the cached version, so I can. This has a little bit of deformation here, and I can basically just do with the original object whatever I want and disable everything, and this stays the same. So it now has hair. There's no child particle, there's no dynamics yet, but another feature that yeah, actually you can see it already here. So I made a little, this is a sort of preliminary thing. It's a kind of modifier stack for caches. That's the idea. It's basically just a thing where we can put all the things that we want to do with caches. The design is not final at all, so we would of course like to have a node system for this, but that's a lot more work than making this thing. And we know that this works pretty much because we have caches for the modifiers for objects, and so this would be a place where we can put all the things like, for example, hair simulation is just a dummy at the moment. Each of these gets its own output path, so you can do sort of stages of the caching. You get an original object, then you do a hair simulation on that, and that goes to a different cache. And you can do all of this in succession, and that's the idea.
You have the interface, but you don't have a modifier.
No, that doesn't work quite. We had a lot of particle bugs and stuff, so it was a bit delayed.
All the caches now you have hairs, that's what you show.
Yeah, the hairs work. Yeah.
Them,
Yeah.
And then the next step will be a simulator.
Yeah, putting simulation on top of this and handling the child hairs and stuff like that.
But this could also be 2 sheep, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
3 sheep.
3 sheep?
Wow.
4?
Stop him.
No way.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to imagine that it is sheep.
What?
Can you do that, Mathieu?
What's wrong with that?
You'd rather see real sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can imagine it. This is only
No
like
cache, so.
1 step from a sheep.
Put the legs on and that's it.
This actually is now.
The legs are out.
That's the same cache library, so I have to basically.
It's okay.
The nose.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was the caching thing. And the other thing, I think Andy will show it probably. This smoke
I'm not
cache.
sure if I can.
Is it still rendering or what?
I don't know
Anyway.
if they show you.
That's all
It's online. It's on Twitter.
I can't show my Twitter.
Yeah. I'll just do a quick tech demo here. So, a feature that we needed for the tornado was colored smoke. We do have colored smoke already, but the problem is that the smoke is all the same color for the same inflow object. So we have a particle system and they all produce the same color. So the idea was to have a texture that defines the particle color, first of all, which is this one here. I hope you can see it. It's not very clear on this projection. This one, so it's a progression here. Yeah, I'll try to choose some colors that can actually be seen on this screen.
Yeah.
Go to the order out. You select A.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can see the particles here actually change their color from green to whatever, light blue or so. And the second step is then to use this for the smoke simulation. So this is a smoke simulation, which has now a new coloring feature. If you could see, where is it?
the float object.
Yeah, right, of course. So this has now this option set color. And what this does is it produces smoke with the color of the particles. Hang on, let me choose a different color here because
Based on the color of the particle, it will blow a little puff of smoke in that color.
Yeah, exactly. So
That way not possible. And we want fixed color with a whole lot.
Smart. Yeah.
And you can even make a Python script to make the color.
yeah, well, sort of, yeah. But this is texture based basically. So the
Okay, the texture.
So,
Take off your face.
yeah, you see,
Your face.
you get different, and that's what we need for the tornado. Yeah. So Andy will show some more
Cool example.
this on next week.
essential. Very cool.
Should I show the Twitter?
You can show my Twitter.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah. You can do that yourself. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, that's it.
What's up?
Hello. Hi.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Now this thing.
So what did I do this week?
Now this thing.
I reworked on the edit, of course, as usual. Change everything. So I just move on to the tornado scene now, trying to fix the layout files with the proper characters, the good setup, the good sets, the good assets, everything with the final production assets to the tornado scene. So the Meet Frank and Victor scene is okay now. We just go on to animation, and Bjorn and Sarah's and Yalti are now working on it. So they are now bringing life to it, which is so cool. It's not that I don't like my animation, but that's way better. So you will see in the movie, I put the latest, I think, if it's V3, okay.
It's okay. Well, there is more, but
Nah.
not finished. So yeah, V3 is perfect.
So there is the first scene where Frank is animated by Sarah and Bjorn is animating Victor. So it's the first adjustment between the two, so it's cool. And yeah, the whole tornado scene, I'm still, you'll see the summons storm part is done. I still have to work next week on the second part, which is Frank in the tornado with the other ship singing. I might want to change something, and you can play the first quick time if you may. Just to bring the ID, because we were talking about it, and I'm still trying to figure out how to make this work. Someone turned the light off.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you?
What's this?
Cool.
Oh, the sheep is on.
Facing Victor and plenty of sheep.
Tornado is picking him up.
Yeah, that's the shot we were discussing.
Think of adding this white shot.
Yeah. I'm trying to see how I can adjust the moment he's picked up with this.
I would
So
also run.
All
those squares.
Yeah. This is evil.
yes, it is.
Well, we have enough budget.
So yeah, either we can show it and we can use that kind of stuff, or we don't, and you'll see in the edit as it is right now, and we don't really see it, which also works because it's more a motion thing than a clearly picture of it. So both can work, but if the tornado effect and smoke thing is great, we can use this if we want to.
Some kind of inception.
Hello.
Hey.
And that's it. I also have the text for the trailer edit that I showed you. So I don't know, we can watch it if you want to, and then I have to leave, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay.
So just for info, I don't know if you heard it, but every sound in it is washing machine sounds. So
Oh, yeah.
the whole stuff is a washing machine spinning, slowed down with echo, and it's an actual.
It's like an inception.
Yeah.
What they did for dinosaurs in Jurassic Park was cows.
Yeah,
And
well,
and
and a
dogs.
mixture
Yeah.
out of one of them. All right. So, let's go play.
Wait.
Wait.
Internet.
really think we should have him like.
Sim.
Nice.
Aardig druk in de cloud.
Yeah. So it's a bit random, and it's not. I had an idea to tell something, but it's a bit. The idea is more to make something intriguing, that you feel like there's something big coming, because we hiding the main. We're preserving something for the movie, which is the tornado, the most we can. So I'm trying not to show it too much, but build the whole attention on it, because that's the key moment of the movie. So trying to make this is the only thing you don't see, but you expect. So that teases more than trails.
You saw it for the first time, right? What did you see? Did you perceive something that you could
Yeah, a
share?
lot of chasing.
Like
A scared sheep.
a horror movie, or is it a love story, or something in between?
A love story between the man and the sheep.
Yeah.
Well,
That's exactly it.
Well, there definitely was something coming. I wasn't sure what, but there was something.
It's intriguing.
Yeah. I mean, the sheep that's being chased by a washing machine shouting tornado. I'm curious.
That's the idea.
But I thought this talking. I think
Yeah.
the talking part is so
But
nice.
usually for the release of a movie, you do a teaser, a trailer 1, a trailer 2.
Only a barn. After
So I don't
this,
know. I think next week I will try something with dialogues.
officially 3 months after this release, we have the whole film.
Yeah.
So we can do more features.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking of it to take a piece of the dialogues.
This time.
And that's it. So I have to go. I don't know if you want to watch the movie or not.
Did you even check if the trains ride normally? Online?
Oh, yeah, a lot of them are
Because
canceled.
We had a
Yeah.
4-hour electricity.
That's no news.
I know, I think it's
I think it is, but you might check it.
Well, usually they send me
I
a
know
message if
they're
there's
not
a
running
problem.
from Leiden right now.
So
They're not running from Leiden right now.
Still?
Still, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
I don't know. I don't have any
But
message.
you have to get to the high speed.
Yeah.
You have to get the one to Paris. We do the
To Paris.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to go to NS high speed.
There's like viewers on the internet.
Okay. That's interesting.
What, they don't care about my trains?
You check or not to find out. If you come back, you know,
I have the application should warn me if there's a problem, so they didn't. So.
I could have checked too. I think they will be right in because this is not.
Usually it's quite reliable. They warn me.
But it's also a special track.
Oh, it's
It's not part of
Next
It
week,
goes
I
through
guess.
Schiphol too. But,
Okay.
so have fun with the movie. It's a bit longer now because with the animation it expands a bit. But,
30 minutes, 40.
no, I think without credits it's like just below 10. 950 or something. So have fun.
See you.
See you on Tuesday. Bye.
Yep. I go back
Everybody.
Monday evening. So if you party like shit.
Okay.
You won't know something.
You guys, you're leaving?
I'm also leaving. Yeah.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye. Auf Wiedersehen, au revoir.
Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir.
Salut.
Salut.
So.
Hello, internet.
Yeah.
Can
we move on?
Yeah.
Watch out the beer. Watch out the beer.
Okay, are we
No.
Yeah.
Sure. You watching the thing?
If it gets boring, you can scrap.
Oh, you don't mean the internet people. Okay.
Well, they can't really.
We
What
have-
is
two
Yeah, that's the
tasks.
biggest one. That's
Yeah, 200 next. It's only 10 minutes. Come on. So I do this. I do this. I do this. I do this. I use this. Right. So it's just that. And I do this. No.
Excuse me. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
Oh, come on.
You have a moment, sir.
I'm kind of in the middle of something here. Yes, thank you.
I've come a long way for you, Frank. My name is Victor. Hi. You are Frank. Oh, you are so much more than just a sheep, aren't you?
Oh, yeah? How would you know?
Look at you. You're an adventurer, Frank. Just like me. You're a lone wolf. Tell me, does one choose to be alone? No, one doesn't. One doesn't even choose to be a wolf. Or does one?
Well, Mr. Hector,
Victor.
I don't know what you're on about, but I'm just a sheep minding its own business. And I suggest you do the same.
No, Frank, wait. No, this is not the way. Just give me 1 minute of your precious time.
Precious time?
Yeah, just give me 1 minute. You would have 1 more minute, wouldn't you? Okay, half. Half a minute. I knew it. I knew it. You will not regret this. The adventures you will have, all the lives you ever wanted, all you've been missing. Here, this is the best product we have in store. Variable spin speed, excellent tumble performance in one handy device, squeaky clean.
Well, this better be good. It took me ages to tie that rope with my fucking hoofs.
No more need for hoofs. No more sheepy business. Time flies.
Wait. How does this thing work? I mean, how do I make it work?
No, you don't. I just turned it on for you.
When can I go? Where can I go?
We will pick you up. Don't worry. Just stay here in this exact place. Don't move. Just wait.
That's it? Hey! Hey! Wait! Mister! Casper! Hector, whatever!
Look at his left hand. Oh, that's it. That's it. Bring that forward. Oh. No.
Let's do a better job on that.
Oh, sexy. Oh, that's definitely not me.
What's the time now? The playback time?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Good.
I still really like that song.
Me too.
Yeah, it's
It's so
really
happy.
Yeah.
Okay, we usually ask our guests now to the first review. Now,
First
is
review.
it working, this part of the story?
The last part I didn't quite understand. The first part is working just fine.
Is
The
it
last,
clear what Victor is doing? Victor is the
I
guy
think
with,
he's the one who reincarnates people or animals.
Mhm.
He's kind of a god or something.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm sorry, did I spoil?
No.
She said it.
He has special powers. No.
Yeah. I think the only thing that kept me puzzling is the storm. Like the storm gets the sheep, and then I think the storm is in the washing machine.
Mhm.
But then I would expect the sheep or as a caterpillar coming out of the washing machine because I connect the storm, the tornado with
Okay.
what's in the washing machine. So that's the only thing that kept me a bit puzzled. Yeah, but the beginning is really fun, really sad, but really fun. And the rest of the story works, and I guess the ending
Yeah.
also
But
works. But
if we get funding from the film fund, we can have the next sequence too. This is not in this edit, but this is 5 minutes of the sheep living a little life of a caterpillar, meeting with the main other character in the film, Tara and Butterfly. And this is like the love story part. So the second half, which is not much more happy and friendly, and this part is a bit gloomy and doomy, but it also has a happy part. But we don't have the budget yet to make that part. So it's a pilot, so we show this part to get interest from people like, we like this. So is it interesting enough to say, hey, I want to see more?
I'm curious what happens in the happy part. Can you say already, or is it
Oh, we can show it to you later. Yeah.
okay?
Oh, of course, it's everybody knows if they're following.
Yeah, but you can actually see it.
Yeah.
Oh, let's show it now, right now, but let's show it after.
Yeah. No, but it's in the. I thought you were saying like, can you say that? Yeah. Like, we share all the progress. It's on the website. So yeah.
Okay.
Even the previous part that was removed is there.
Okay.
No spoilers.
Yes. Well, first of all, I didn't just see the whole movie. Is that correct? Because I have no context. I walked in blindly. I haven't seen the project on the website, so I'm as blank.
Okay. This is the
You can
beginning
get it.
of the film.
This is
The beginning,
the beginning. How much percentage did I see?
10%.
10%.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So 12%.
How long will the film be?
It should be 1 hour.
An
But
hour.
it was only about 90 minutes, 100 minutes. So it has
Okay.
to be the beginning of a feature film.
All right. So that helps me place it into. I need a context, or else I couldn't say anything. It wouldn't matter.
Could you quickly say also who you are?
Yeah, I could. I am Bobby de Groot. I am a art director, creative illustrator, teacher, and I'm looking for work. So that's my framework. I teach at the UK School of the Arts in the Hilversum Computer Animation. That's the 3D dude. And other than that, I used to work at House of Secrets, which was my studio, which I quit recently to pursue a solo career. Kind of fill it in for you. I made some notes during the 10 minutes I saw, because I'm a teacher, that's what I do. The first thing, is it the rector here? Or is that the guy with the beard?
Yeah, he ran out.
Oh, he ran to Paris. Yeah, he's French? Yeah, of course.
You can share it in an email.
No, yeah, but the thing I didn't understand narratively is why they had that camera, which creates a very an extra dimension of narrative because we have an audience who is also almost active. You know, at one point when he's pushing the branch to the camera kind of looks up to the left to see where he's going and goes back, which makes the camera, the audience, an almost very semi-active participant, which I don't get because I'm curious what the use is. Because if it has no use, I'm very that's my opinion, obviously. Then I would leave it out because it doesn't grant me anything. It only takes time or maybe distracts from whatever your main narrative is. And in general, why the whole handheld thing? I mean, it's visually, it looks nice. It's well done so far, but if it's just a matter of a chocolate flavor just because chocolate tastes nice, then that's not a.
You can explain it better, but I think he wants to get that feeling. It's too close. He wants the visuals are animation. If you look at later how it will look like, it's going to have very nice quality looks. But he doesn't want to have a traditional animation feeling. He likes to have more film feeling. But if there's a cameraman standing, filming the sheep going to the cliff.
Yeah, but even in a live action film, I mean, take a Spielberg or whatever, he can have, or Abrams, for instance, who often works with very tight, strong lines in cameras, very little handheld. So, I mean, for a feature film, for a live action
You
film.
don't need it, but it gives, for animation, it gives it the feeling of a live action.
Yeah, but I'm
have
wondering.
to, that's what
Yeah, but
I
I'm thinking it's because
but I understand.
it's a kind of a big sauce to put over it, and I want to know what it, how much bang I get for my buck if I apply it. Okay, that's one thing. A maybe small detail. I don't get if the sheep is trying to kill himself, which I like at the beginning. It could be even slower for me. Just take your time, and when he just drops, and poof, you know, it's too soft. He kind of slides in there, and I wouldn't mind like I'm sort of starting to direct, of course. Bear with me. You can ignore anything I say, obviously, but some more punch, and then I don't get it if he wants to kill himself, which I don't get, thank God. But why does he run away for a tornado? If he wants to die anyway, well, I would welcome. Okay, well, if I don't step off the fucking cliff, then well, let this thing finish me off. And suddenly he becomes scared and runs away. And now I'm looking for a motive. Why is he suddenly scared? Then I want to wonder who is he? And like I said, I have no. So that's a thing I didn't get because the whole intro is all about I'm tired, I want to die, I fucking had it.
But there's a lot of times they find that people who try to kill themselves, they find at the last minute
I know that could be, but like I said, why is that the moment you choose for a film? You kind of mostly choose the kind of decisive moments where everything becomes ambiguous, and animation could be used ambiguously. But why use a sheep? Then you could just well use a person on a bridge, and if he hesitates, I would understand because I don't want to kill myself.
That's one of the things that will be explained over the course of the movie.
Okay, yeah, like I said, I'm only working within the framework which I have seen, and in terms of editing, I thought I was watching the whole movie, so of course I didn't get it. I mean, I thought the same thing, a reincarnation thingy. Okay, but the pacing really is strange. The whole beginning, before Victor shows up, is nice and steady, and it's absurd, but I can deal with that. And then suddenly it becomes very fast. So I had the same thing with her when I see him as a caterpillar, and suddenly there's the laundry mat, or whatever you call it. I was expecting him and not Victor, and the sheep, and it didn't help that, and the whole confusion part kind of distracted me. I don't like to have the audience confused unless I want them to be confused, and this confused me, which took me kind of out of the immersion for a second, and I was like, oh, instead of looking at the animation or following whatever he's doing. I mean, I like the absurdity of the scene itself in climbing out of there. That's almost like Miki Takashi or something like that. I can enjoy that, but the editing kind of messed me up, and of course the tempo. And then suddenly he's a caterpillar, which is very short, too short for my taste. And then laundry, and then the tempo kind of goes like this, and then through the roof, narratively speaking. And like I said, I don't know the motive to do that. If I knew a motive, I could maybe understand it. But at this point, it's almost like we're driving in a slow car and suddenly it turns into a Formula One car and flies to the moon, and I have no real clue what I'm talking about. It's become very surreal suddenly. And like I said,
no, but we have to move on to a little bit.
that's okay.
Yeah,
I know that's what I do.
We do script reviews too, but not in the weekly.
No, okay, but that are the questions I started asking upon doing this. I mean, the animation is in some parts already working, some parts rough, so I'm not going to say anything about that. It's too, yeah, exactly. So
you will see more now.
Okay, cool. Well, that's.
Yeah. I think it might be interesting for Mathieu to have people from your background also to come in with them during the week for a little review to discuss on those things, because it's nice to get other people with this kind of first looks to discuss this. Like, okay, if this is not clear, we have to work on making it clear.
I have no emotional ties to any shot. I can imagine if you animate a shot like for days and you're happy, and then somebody says, "Well, it should be gone." No, I don't want to drop it. That's what editors and never go to the film sets.
I don't care, as long as the story's good.
Oh, my opinion, when people really worked hard on the shot, I'm proud. And I have the same thing. It's hard to kill your darlings. It's something. That's why sometimes it's good for somebody outside. I do the same thing myself. And just show me what do you think is not working. It's very hard to be objective, formal, to look formal. It's something you guys have been probably working for ages now, and it's normal. That's why you need some asshole like me just to come in and I don't know.
Which way are we going in?
We are going
Pablo.
with him.
Pablo.
We ended with you last time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You gonna?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, I don't have much. I mean, I have.
Yeah.
I have. Huh?
Sugar?
I have this to show.
You earned a lot of money, Pablo.
Yes. This is monthly. Oh, we need to update. Now they're pink.
The CEO of Autodesk makes that day.
Oh,
Per
hour.
two things. Yeah, I sell two guys and then. Yeah, I made this. I also made the Blender ID page. So when you go to the Blender ID, now you these are a bunch of things, but they're not fun. They're just website stuff. I also put stuff on the farm, but I put them in low priority. Because we had the big bugs, and they were solved by Campbell about BAMP pack. Now BAMP is super rock solid, and they are on the farm. So
you can't show anything?
Not really. I put it in priority 10, and there were many. Render final? No.
Final, but you can show like the first 20 frames.
What was it?
You rendered something.
That's all right.
I saw stuff on the farm all the time.
Where is render flamenco manager store? And then what is the address for 192? This?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Because we need to get the number of the ID of the thing. Let me share it with the. Now, thank you. So I put this guy here, which is number 150, like the Pokemons of the first generation. And let's see how it is. So yeah, I made this. Well, the farm made it. Just press buttons. Yeah. Of course, it can come. It's not BAM, it's particles. Maybe Blender changed along the way, and because I put it with low priority, so when there is nothing in the farm, it renders that. When there is something new, it renders there's something new. There have been many changes with the particles. Oh, this is nice. Now we're talking. That's nice.
Actually, looks better.
Of course. Sorry, you know how I am with pink stuff. I like it. Okay, that's interesting because I put this in the farm once on Tuesday and I haven't touched it since then. So many things change. Yeah, you see how we progress, and yeah, well, it's good. It's good to know that things can change
But this
without.
is going to go through the weekend. It's going to continue, so we can put it on the blog on Monday.
Yeah. I mean, this is in the farm, so as long as there is, and it has low priority. So here, it's 32%.
Yeah.
It has low priority. So whenever this stuff is finished, which people are not seeing,
No, he's rendering that.
But it's not fine.
That's the only one. Yes.
you see now we have rest of the jobs. Then during the week we had many like fix of fix, super fast render for the fix. And yeah, the farm has been busy because there have been many bugs.
There's only one job running now.
Ja, misschien geeft het wat van. Hij wil het ook maken.
No, there are two rendering. Oh yeah, mine is rendering.
Yeah, this is the only one.
Oh, I'm on the only one rendering.
Yeah.
But I can put higher settings.
Yeah, you should.
Anyway, we discussed that number.
Okay. So yeah, that Blender ID, Blender.org, the tutorials page, the Blender, anything. This website, it's not too exciting.
Okay. Do you want to operate the
Yeah, sure.
overgrown abacus for me?
So this we can close. Here we can close. Yeah. Close. Here.
Okay.
Or
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of this already in the edit. But yeah, I just did some further work on this. I pretty much stopped on this until the rope rig gets fixed. But you can see the progress, hopefully. Yeah, part of what I did was also work with Pablo to make a proxy for the grass. So when the rope lands on the ground, it's actually sitting on the grass rather than going beneath it. So that was
for this part. The animation of the rope was great, but there was grass on it, so we couldn't see anything, and it even looked like flickery with the renders.
Yeah.
So come up with this of using the density, the vertex group that defines the density of the grass as a displace modifier. So that way you displace the mesh where it's supposed to be the grass.
So basically, we just got a low res version of the grass. So
Yeah, it's a copy that's not rendered. It's only for animation, and it's really good, by the way.
So there's that, and then yeah. So this isn't really finished until we get the rope rig updated, and this goes through all the shots with rope actually. So
And then the sliding.
yeah, the sliding bit. But yeah, once that rope rig gets updated, I estimate about 1 day, maybe 2 days to finish this off. And then next is
This 1, 2, and D.
yeah. So we already saw this, so it should be sound.
You're Frank. Oh, you are so much more than just a sheep, aren't you? Oh, yeah? How would you know? Look at you. You're an adventurer, Frank. Just like me. You're a lone wolf. Tell me, does one choose to be alone? No, one doesn't. One doesn't even choose to be a wolf. Or does one?
So that's pretty much halfway through my first blocking pass of that. It's 50 seconds long, and we're doing it as like a a 2-camera shoot. So Sarah is dealing with Frank, the sheep, and I'm dealing with Victor, obviously. So it's a lot of work to get this done to 50 seconds of animation. So that's basically what I did this week.
You try to block the whole thing and then you go also.
Yeah, because my first pass at it, like I didn't even. It was even simpler than this. It was just to make sure I got the intention right, and so I was checking with Mathieu, and still he's too much with his hands. He's supposed to be a lot more reserved at this stage. So I'm going to be toning this down as I finish this off. So
I think Reinout is not so much this.
Sorry?
Reinout, the actor, is more.
He's doing a lot of this sort of stuff. This is where I got it from looking at the
I don't remember
reference.
he says sheep. I thought wolf.
He doesn't say wolf there either. He does.
He said wolf.
No, he doesn't. No, he does like that. That's something I was playing with. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, that's work in progress, and I'm going to tone it all down and keep it going.
Yeah, good. Andy.
Oh, I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. And the week before this behind. Yes.
Where's the weekly? Oh, yeah.
It's in.
Okay. Sorry, I don't use these machines. Okay.
To the sound of the machine.
Well, geez, what am I going to say? I started this week working on a tornado, which I haven't done before, ever. That's irony, by the way. So the first thing I wanted to take care of is the shots that I'm supposed to work on, which are the shots where the tornado comes down and we see the clouds sort of bubbling and turning around. And those were the first simulations I wanted to tackle. Because at the beginning of this week, it was a bit fuzzy, like if I should do tornado, like should I focus on the vortex itself? It was more like, yeah, let's do some actual work that's going to be useful. I have to share it. Okay. Right, so this is an OpenGL render. It's not the final resolution, but this is actually all of Victor's point of view when the tornado, the cloud vortex is forming. So in the lower right corner, you would see Victor standing there. This is over the course of 2 shots. So you see the sky slowly starting to turn. And later there is actually another point of view from that angle, and that's where the vortex is coming down. And then this is the rendered version of that. There's a slight bug with the texture there. So all these spots here, all these white spots, they're going to be gone. That's just one of the textures messing up.
Very nice.
So yeah, this is only one half of the shot. This is A1 of that sequence. Later you'll see this part turning much more than that. I think the resolution of this is okay for a preview, but I think for the final it should be much more high resolution. And then I think on Thursday I started playing with the smoke vortex itself, the colored smoke. So I started doing tests with animated particles, and I played around with this firework effect, which turns out that you can actually use the features that Lucas made for the hair simulation. You can also use them on animated particles. So you can have particles that start small and that sort of explode out into this little branch here. And those can be used to generate the smoke. So that is only a small swirl, and this is OpenGL, by the way. So next I started to, this is really low resolution, crappy rendering. I started to see if I can make that, turn that into a vortex thing that's coming down. This version is a bit too fast. I slowed it down later. So like that, slightly turning slightly slower and more dramatic. But yeah, it's more like this washing powder thing. This when the Indian holiday where they all throw around color and that kind of stuff. So I hope this is largely what the tornado is going to be. And then I started putting it into the shot where it actually comes down, where Victor is standing, the one we saw earlier. And then I realized that there's just not enough detail that you see from the distance. It just looks like some bubbling confetti stuff. So next I started to think about what kind of detail we can put into that. And that's, of course, that's bubbly stuff that's floating particles and stuff. So I played around with this little thing. Oh, hold on, that's not actually the thing. This one. Yeah, this was the first test, which is something I have never used before, and I think not many people have used this. But it's actually a pretty amazing feature. You can use particles as effectors. So some particles here are causing the other particles to swirl around.
So the particles are force fields now.
The particles are force fields. Yeah, that's a feature. That's a feature that's been in Blender for a long time. But that's the first time I used it actually, and the first time I got results out of it. There's lots of other people who have used this before and made like amazing things. And yeah, I thought that would be fun to use that as the base of the vortex. So I tried to put that on a tornado vortex thing. So you can see that following a curve here, which of course can be from bottom up or from top down. So the next thing, I think that was yesterday. That was that one. So I'm thinking this could be like in the center of the tornado. So this bubbly washing powder liquid stuff. And around that can be the exploding smoke puffs and stuff. And yeah, so this, yeah, I'm purely using this to add some more detail. And yeah, because I mean, shouldn't just should look like a big puff of smoke. It should be amazing, right? So
it already is.
So
it's from the distance, like this from far.
Oh yeah, this is actually not that big. This is like 50 meters high, so I think it can be much bigger and can be more particles. But I had to render it overnight, so it was like that. But when I played around with this, I thought it would be nice to actually have these things as the driving emitters for the smoke, and that's why Lucas made that feature where you can use those particles and generate the smoke color from it. Mm-hmm. And I think I started an OpenGL render, and it's going to be really crappy. But I played around with this all day, and I'm still not at the point where I think it's okay. It's good, but this should give you an idea. So this is the same vortex of particles that color the overall. Oh, of course, it didn't render everything. That colors the overall tornado, but at the same time, we get these little puffs here that have individual colors. So I'm thinking something like that. It's going to take me a while to figure it out how it's going to look like. And there's one more cloud shot in the front, but I can't show that right now. So that's it.
Good.
Pablo, can you maybe?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's easy this week. So
You do the talking? Yes, hello.
so this
The
week.
cat? Where's the cat?
Well,
Simran was asking.
yeah.
Simran.
It's actually a good question.
He runs
Got
around.
escaped.
Yeah, he was hanging out with the director all day, and Lucas also. Yeah, so I finished making that time lapse animation tutorial / time lapse thing. So yeah, I like, you know, you can see that online. You don't have to go through all that. But besides that stuff, I did a lot of references, so you can just play the references. Thank you to Sarah that that was willing to go through all that stuff with me. So we did probably 20, 30 different references, and I got a lot of feedback from Mathieu.
You will not regret this. The adventures you will have.
Who was going for more calm thing, a more specific thing, where like my tendency is to start off with overacting a bit, and then we can kind of take it from there. So I get feedback from that, because if I do it too subtle, then there's nothing to talk about. And if you wanted something crazy exaggerated, is this the second one? Yeah. So he wanted even more calm than this. This is especially in the beginning, because he's supposed to be really afraid that if he pushes too hard on Frank, Frank will just commit suicide on the spot. So this is kind of where we ended up. Yeah, I don't even think this has sound. Yeah, it's really subtle. So I grabbed also the actors just to get some extra feedback from their expressions. I'm sorry, Sarah. So this is way more calm and soft, and then it doesn't really, like, he doesn't feel confidence until the end. Then I started working with it, and this shot is so insane. It's wow. And then the whole timer issue. I spent a lot of time on the timer, and the current rig for the timer just doesn't work for this shot. So I talked to I'll open it, and like it needs to be different. So I sent an email to Juan Pablo talking about it.
But the rig of the rope is fixed to do this.
It really isn't, but I'm trying to use it. But it is on.
Is it still twisting and stuff?
It's doing everything, and
the twisting's fixed. The sliding is
like, but this thing is. I mean, it's even like doing a little twisty thing that is.
Really?
Yeah, it's not the same issue that you guys had. It's just a matter of like he's folding it, and when he's folding it, there are these like weird creases that come up, and yeah. So yeah, a lot of issues with it, but I'm trying to work with it, and I'm trying just to do my best to make sure that all the storytelling poses are there. So if we see some better way to fix it, we can always go to that. So I want to finish kind of doing all of the Victor stuff first, and then I want to go back into Frank a bit. The amount of parenting and the whole, like, he's taking the noose off him, and then he's grabbing the noose. Like, when I say him, I mean me, like stupid me doing the reference like I did, but I'm folding the noose. So I'm like grabbing halfway point and then folding it, but then grabbing it with the other hand and then letting go and then putting it down on the ground really softly and then letting it go. It's a lot of back and forth parenting. So I'm cheating a lot, but I think it's gonna work. Yeah, it'll be fine.
So check manual keyframe. Every frame.
Yeah.
Old fashioned.
Oh yeah, old school. We'll do it old school. Yeah, definitely.
Sculpt.
Yes. Oh God. Just craft it.
And lens flare. And
yeah. You know, there's gonna be a huge rock right in front of this, right? Yeah. There's happens to be the sheep walking in the foreground, just blurring everything.
Rotate the camera. You see his ass in front of you.
Yeah.
You see his human stuff.
Yes. And of course, like these storytelling poses I'm doing. I mean, I'm crafting every minute thing in them, like the fingers all the way down to the fingers that they're holding everything. I'm faking the faces. If you see this shot from any other angle, they're not even looking at each other. He's looking
You're
over there.
shooting.
What? Would an animator do that? Yeah, he would.
But what if the director wants to have a different camera?
Then I need to reanimate.
Okay.
That's why we have layout. What's up?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Next. Clap. No, please. Thank you. Yeah.
Doki.
Yeah. All right.
So for me, well, similar to Bjorn, I have not finished the first shot since the idea is to move on and come back later, and I totally fully agree, to be honest, because now that I'm in the other, I want like to come back to this one. I have another view. I'm getting used to it. But anyway, can you put the sound, please? So yeah, this one I worked a bit on Monday, just for the movement of the head that wasn't. Oh, forget the last part because this one is cut. But yeah, I mainly worked on the overlap action of the head compared to the body. So that's what I did on Monday. Of course, we still have to work better expression, like the face expression and the ears. We also talked about the ears a lot, that they shouldn't be completely dead. I think they should have some twitching that conveys the expression, the overall expression. So as soon as I can come back to this shot, I wanted to try something with the ears and to help with that direction. So yeah, that's for that shot. And the next one.
I'm a long way from you, friends.
Yep.
You can do without sound.
So of course, blocking still. A lot of boring part because this shot is more about Victor, and so where Victor is talking, I'm not animating. So when he stands still, it's just that I'm not doing nothing. But yeah.
No, it is so acting.
Yeah, good expression.
This is the first time you really see the sheep having emotions have to walk.
Yeah. Well, he cannot like. The first draft I did, he was like looking everywhere and doing stuff and blah blah, and then Mathieu said no. He has to stare always at Victor, and I was like, okay. So it's mainly about moving the eyes and trying to do stuff like that. So he doesn't move much, but still like the idea is that in that shot he's angry that he was interrupted. He is not moved by all the stuff that Victor is saying, so he has always to look skeptical. And basically he's saying to Victor, "Are you taking me for an idiot?" So that was the idea, and work in progress, but yeah.
It'll be interesting to see the faces walk for the sheep.
Yeah, totally.
You can do lots of stuff with the eyebrows.
Yeah. And that's it.
Okay. Gabriel, or Francisco, or both, or
maybe I can start. Then you can show what we actually did. So this week I worked on the cloud and for the stats and for our backend. So nothing really interesting, but essential for us. to keep the project going. And then at the same time, I worked on we worked a little bit on the render farm, trying to, putting together the final bits that allow us to work together with the other instances of the farm in Indonesia and in France. And I spent quite some time on on a library that we are going to use for Attract, which is our production management software. And it's really low-level abstract library, but it's very useful because it will allow us to And so yeah, basically it's not exciting visually, but technically is a very important part of our architecture. It's one of the founding bricks of the whole platform. And at the same time, I spent.
What were you saying it will allow you to do?
It's like a library. It's like a piece of software that then you attach to other software so that they can communicate with the Attract server, basically. So it will be pluggable into Blender, it will be pluggable into websites, it will be pluggable in phones, it will be pluggable into everything. Yes, and besides that, of course, I spent some time with Gabriel planning the server side and the web interface part and everything else, because since he's leaving, we need to wrap up all the projects that we've been working on in the past 3 months. And I think Gabriel can actually show what we've been doing, and yeah, I think that's it.
Yep. Okay, I was working on the render farm. Now with Querno, we can render files that need 16 gigabytes of RAM. They enable the swap. So that's good.
I think now it works.
Yes, that works. And I told Tom on Monday that Attract will be working today. So go to change the port, Pablo, to 5001. 5001.
Yes?
Yes. Oh no, what's happening?
107
No, it's your own machine, but is it running on your machine?
Yeah.
or this one? In by server? Or
No, it's this machine.
No, it was. No, it's this.
It's a 3106. What is that?
It's his machine.
Oh.
And 5000.
No. I think it's just down. But you want to go have a look?
Yeah.
Can you ping that IP address in the terminal?
No, it's just
Is there anything working with it?
it's just his server is probably down, but he's turning it on now. So.
No, back. No 5001. Just the IP address.
No, but
the IP is live. If we are there.
see we're looking at it
Yeah, it works. Sorry.
Because we are there.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
So we can maybe see
The
here.
address bar.
And
Read the address bar.
Sergey, how's it working?
The IP address is this version of Flamenco that we're looking at right now. So it's working.
You should have its folder.
Yeah, the folder.
Yes.
But the machine is not charged.
You should be working.
Should we work it now?
I don't know.
5001?
Yeah. No, well, I'm unable to show you.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It's because the configuration. But Attract is kind of working, but it's working, but needs some work. It's using the SDK that Francesco made to communicate with the Attract server. The Attract, because there is 3 parts: the Attract server, the Attract SDK, and the Attract web UI. And okay, is that.
And it's your last day.
Yes, it also.
No, tomorrow is still in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And Sunday,
Sunday.
daytime, Sunday.
Yes, and I will be in. I
You can
will
finish
see.
the track.
Yeah.
What's
You
that?
can see
Try it
all the
again.
city.
Try it again.
No.
Nothing.
Nothing. No, nothing.
So, but what was working? You can add shots and notes.
You
for
can add shots, you can delete shots, edit shots, and that's it for now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Manu.
Lots of videos. You can put them all in the queue if you want. Yeah, there is only one image. We can check the last.
So they're gonna play in loop.
Yes, they are renders.
But you tell me when to go.
Just keep it playing. They are all.
Sorry.
Oh.
Because VLC is very smart, and when you're there, it shows you one buttons. When you're there, all the buttons. So just leave it there.
Yeah, we can go through the whole list like a couple of times. Yeah, it's a sort of short. This was from last weekend, so there will be next version coming next. The
hair.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Where?
Where?
It's facial hair, isn't it?
And the grass.
It's quite remodeling it so well.
So this is the better version.
I don't know.
Why is the grass always flickering?
It's without the grass and the hair finish. That's why it looks good.
That's the
The
grass.
light is meant to be like this, with the sky, right? The fog has gone. It's more clear now.
I have no idea.
You have to trim, I think, the last frames because they're not.
Oh.
Go.
Yeah.
But at least now the grass isn't flickering.
And it's not pink anymore.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You removed all the fancy features.
Then there's this. First, it was working if the actions were made local, but then it breaks down.
Yeah,
So we really need to.
Did we ever found like a
Maybe the
solution to
farm.
that
Maybe
weird
the
thing?
farm. I don't know.
Yeah, there was something weird going on.
Oh.
Fancy.
Winter's coming.
It looks frozen.
Well, the left arm for some reason is following the right one for no apparent reason. Yeah.
Nice leg.
Yeah, but it's only when you render it on the render file.
Yes.
Sad going down inside the It's a neon grass.
What? Oh, the rope is still rotating.
Yeah.
No. This is the first. But.
It's last week's.
Yeah. So this is the latest stage of the rope. So there is still problems, but it's much better, of course.
Yeah, it's still got the sliding, but not the twisting.
Yes.
The grass.
Grass still flickering.
Why?
That's just because of spline.
Did we find any clue why this stuff goes in?
We did, and we solved it, but it's still like the big flickers are gone, but now there's this random, and it's not even in every specific number of frames, it's random.
There's no clue yet.
There's absolutely no clue why this is flickering. We tried to look into every single thing.
We remove all the randomness.
Not a specific node or
We tried everything.
But now it,
But we have to try everything again. So
Photoshop.
by the end of the project,
or just take the
Might have
flickering
some.
frames and
re-render them. Yeah.
no, because we can't do that because the people should be able to re-render this thing.
Yeah. I'm there.
or try to isolate it for circuit to try it on.
But it's so random. It's like how do
Yeah, I know. If you remove the sheep, I bet you still have the error.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So remove 90% of the grass, you have the error. Remove 99% of the grass until you have something simple.
Mostly it's not that simple, but we're trying to solve it.
I know.
And every time takes hours.
But you can put
Nice,
the image.
nice job for my trick. Yeah.
Wait,
Mm,
there's more.
There's
Well,
more.
well, the
There's
one image. It's
Jeez.
but yeah, that's the.
The
Yeah.
final text.
The manual size 5K.
Of course, of course.
Let me.
Campbell hates it, but it actually does the job.
There you can read the code.
What is that?
It's like
It's an add-on.
no, but it's
The Astral add-on.
It is in the cloud.
But why do you want it outside of the frame?
So that it's not on top of the frame.
Yes.
So you can actually
There's
see what
metadata for that.
Awesome. Oh yeah, but you have time to implement it.
No, it is in.
That's nice.
For SARs, not for JPEGs.
Yeah, for JPEGs also.
Yeah, but
Then nobody can read it.
But then how do you read the metadata?
And Mathieu wants it to the animatic
You need
anyway.
it in the videos. You need it. Yeah. So it makes sense. We already had this lunch. It was
Yeah,
a
5
nice
times. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
20 minutes discussion about.
Who is Pedro?
It's placeholder.
Bastard.
Yeah,
I love it.
Why doesn't it work more?
Okay, that's it.
Super cool. How do you do it?
Anthony,
Right.
you have something?
Yep.
Sure. Wanna do it yourself? Oh, you have Blender stuff.
Yeah. Cool Blender stuff for animators.
So, yes.
You hope.
No, I got a preview.
Set you up, sir.
So it was a bug fixing week. Mostly. So let me close that. Basically, where are you? How do you close?
Leave full screen.
Leave full screen and die. And sorry, didn't have to be so harsh. So okay. So Björn was having a big problem with his animations, and here you can see why. Let me see if I can show you that. Wait a minute. Here it is. All right. I'm not sure how. Okay.
But you need to share it.
Yep. I'm doing it right now. So I'm sharing it. So this is very uninteresting. It's basically a cube. And it's I'm going to open the blend file too, so you can see it, not the internet. Anyway, let me play it first. So you see it plays the animation up to a point, then it stops. And this is an OpenGL preview render. So the animators cannot really make this loop. And, they just have to wait the file to go to the end. And it's really frustrating. So that was in the old version of Blender. And it's caused by the file that I've got here. Let me wait
You
a minute.
understand? No, you didn't explain it very well.
I didn't explain
So
it.
basically, when you're animating, you've got a preview range. You define a preview range, and you render out an OpenGL. It puts out the audio for the entire, the audio for the entire timeline.
What's the audio in this?
No, just a moment. I'm explaining for the people at home too, in case there's some animators watching. Okay? This type has always been in Blender. It puts out audio for the entire timeline, but video just for your preview range. And the audio is out of sync with the video, and it's a pain in the butt. So now,
what did that video demonstrate then?
it showed that the cube stopped because that was a preview range. He's got the.
All right, so this is Blender. So this is what you should see.
Yeah.
Instead, you're seeing
just share
something.
it with the world.
Yep, I'm sharing it with the world. So
There we go.
world, this is the cube that you should see. Sorry, let's go. Yeah, but you're getting all this.
The range, the frame range is.
No, you want it to loop.
Yes. So this is the
You don't want to
preview.
stop, you want it to loop.
Exactly. So this is the fixed Blender. So if we go and do a render animation here, and let me check if the settings are correct, basically. Really quick, sorry for this. I think it's okay. No, let me put it in the desktop. All right, so if you check the frame range, it's a little bit, not this one. Sorry.
Anyway, so let me render this really quick. Okay, it's over, and now we're going to the desktop, and
But with sound.
probably, let's see. No, that's not the one. Wait a minute. It's the other one. It's this one. So yeah, so that's
Yeah,
why.
that's good.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the.
No.
So this.
It's not looping.
It's looping, and I'm gonna open both,
rather than
and
doesn't stop.
you're gonna see them both.
Yeah.
So this is the old one. So this is the old one. So you can see it stops, and it plays a sound as well, because but I didn't leave it inside. And this is the new one. So it stops.
You're still sharing Blender.
Yeah.
So
So
basically, the OpenGL
no.
render wasn't taking the preview range into
I am?
account. I know that.
Yep.
So you have it.
The OpenGL render was.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was appending the audio from the entire time range. And so you would end up with this messed up video file. VLC could play it, but other video players can't.
Yeah.
It'll read it and go, what? This doesn't make any sense. Because it's got a video that's 10 minutes long, but an audio that's 10 minutes long.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's exactly. So and also fix the file names, because you had the full file name range for the preview. It was a little bit messy.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So you're gonna get the correct name now. And Matthew also asked me for another feature, which I should demonstrate here. Basically, he wanted his proxies to be in a certain place for the whole project. He just hated having yep, sorry, let me share it. Share. This is Blender, okay, and where is my cursor? Here it is. All right. So let me add a movie really quick. The one I just made, for example. Okay, where is it? Okay. So there it is. Say, for example, I have this strip, and I want to. I have many of these strips, and I want them to all of them to build the proxies in a certain directory. And within Blender, currently, you go here, and you have to go to each one of them and press this custom directory here and select directory, etc. So Matthew just wanted to do this really quickly. So we have a new option here, which is one is per strip and one is project. So you can go and select a directory on the desktop, for example, name it proxy. Create it. Yep. Prois. Yeah, whatever. And then you press it. And if we go to the desktop, you should see them generated. Wait a minute. Where is it? So here is a folder, and here are the proxies. And yeah, basically you also get the file name attached. So if you have many files, they don't get collisions with each other. So yeah. And finally, I want to. Why is the proxy? Sorry. It's not in a global context, unfortunately. No. If you select the project thing, it's the global thing. It's stored per editor. So it's for all proxies we do. This property. The menu is for the editor. So it's if you go here, it's sequence editor.proxy storage. So it's And finally, the animators asked for me a feature which was
the big one.
Yeah, but
this is what you said for 2 hours to listen to.
You were teasing at the
beginning.
That's
right. No, that was just a teaser. This is the real thing.
Yeah, but it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet, but wait a minute, let me share it. So this is.
Oh my God! I asked for this 5 years ago.
So it's doing it. It's a little bit like an ellipse, but it sort of works.
It's proportional editing for the
it's exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Such a small thing, but so good.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry for that, but
That's why I asked for it.
Proportional editing for curves.
Oh, I understand that. Make a
English is better.
I'm sorry. I
5,000 curves, and everything is like flowing around in a nice way.
You can rotate in
We asked for it today at noon, so it's
Oh.
okay. It's okay.
Sorry, I know second presentation. But, yeah.
No,
Anyway.
you're doing great work, man.
But,
Seriously.
okay. So yeah, that's the thing.
Before we finish, we maybe can quickly show the attack because we got the server running, so we can just very quick look at how it looks
Can
like.
you explain what was wrong? Why did it
The configuration on the IP address, the server wasn't expecting the something connecting from outside.
It's okay. It was just a little
Coming all the
technical.
way from there.
Well, that is the list as example of shots. You can edit it with the edit button. You can see the edit. You can try changing something, pressing start, and will update. Yeah. No.
Jesus.
Yeah, UX design.
This is a note. You can see there. You can in the.
So this is going to be Francesco's shop for the next 2 weeks.
Is it all the job?
And mine.
The director's shop.
No, he's talking about putting the
Ah,
data in.
yeah,
Like,
it's-
that's why I was looking at him like.
Data to put in all
It's
the
fine.
data.
Can you separate things up by scene as well?
Well, not yet, but basically you can. You can do basically this system. It's very. It's like what you see here might seem very basic and might seem very limited, but the principle that you've seen now, there is a shot and you can edit it, and it has a different type of fields. Basically, is the core of how a track works. So if you want a scene, you can have a scene. If you want a group of scenes, you can have a group of scenes. If you have a sequence, you can have it. And you can nest and group content, drilling down to infinity and beyond. So you can have tasks with subtasks, with groups of users assigned to it, and it's all possible within this framework.
Yeah.
So
If you go
But
to
how do
the
you-
fourth.
But does that already work? You can add a task to a shot?
no, you cannot have tasks yet. We only have shots. Is the basic node. But like
But it's
next
not
week we will have tasks.
And then you will get that on the
But
bottom.
You designed the whole data model
Yeah.
to be extendable.
Yeah, exactly. So it's supposed to be quite a solid foundation, and we rely on a lot of useful and powerful frameworks that are designed by people much smarter than us. So we are rather safe with what we are doing right now.
And how do you add a picture?
You don't add the picture.
No. Right now you can. You need to type the path.
You can't add pictures yet.
Yeah.
You don't draw.
You can
Actually, you can't do
Copy
anything.
paste
yet.
it up.
It doesn't work yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, a little bit of task. So yeah, at least this is the start. It's a very humble start, but it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. And what time is it?
4:45.
Jesus.
Okay.
That was a long one.
So let's stop and have a short break, and I'm going to have food.
Bye.
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 Bye bye, internet.
Did we forget one?